Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2. The only appropriate description for a match where I'm able to introduce this Zerg player in the red, currently ranked #1 in the world. And in my not-so-humble opinion, the greatest StarCraft 2 player of all time. It's the finisher, Serral. But on the other side of the map, the only player who has managed to defeat Serral in a series so far this year. The only Terran, that is. No, it's not Maru. It's not Beyond. It's the Frenchman from Team Liquid. It's Clem. A best of 5. Terran versus Zerg. And while I still think Serral is the favorite, we have a real match on our hands. Clem has been tearing up everyone. He's currently surpassed Maru for rank 2 in the world. So these are the two best players right in front of you. And I think Clem has a pretty solid chance the way he's been playing lately. And I hope you give me a solid chance to earn your like and subscribe. Though maybe save it for the end. I don't like when YouTubers say it right at the start. Like, let me watch the video first. Well, Jimmy, what are we? 1,194 likes, though. If we get 1,194 likes on this series, on this cast, I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways. I don't know what else I would do with my life. But thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so excited for this. I hope you've had a good day so far. And I hope it's about to get a little bit better. Alright. It doesn't get better than this. These two. I kind of gotta just center myself and prepare. But not for too long, because Clem has already off to a bit of an odd start. He's expanded to the pocket base. Looks like he kind of tried to hide it here from Serral. And then we'll move the orbital. I think he was trying to hide the fact he was expanding, but the Overlord manages to spot it. He's also hiding his tech in his main. Just doing whatever he can to keep it away from the vision of the Ovi. Trying to maintain that element of surprise, but Serral already has plenty of queens. They'll cover all his bases, and it's not too hard to do at this stage of the game. Gonna open up the little... You have to mine out... We saw this in Serral's last series. You have to mine out this little mineral patch in order to spread your creep over these destructible rocks. And an odd quirk of the terrain. Roaches are on the way, and there is no Zergling speed? No Zergling speed. So Serral opting for the heavier roach play here in game 1, which does not offer the same level of mobility as Zerglings and Banelings, maybe Mutalisks, but is a lot less larva intensive and can potentially punish a greedy Terran who just simply doesn't have enough to defend, is relying on their wall off to save their bases earlier on. But the Liberator going to siege up. The queens are already in position. Serral, anticipating this, has boxed out the Hellions with the roaches and has... I mean, look at Serral's vision. We're going to the Serral cam here. He just sees everything. Everything that could be coming in. He has the Overlords in position to be able to move his queens. Well, he's the Overlord's in position to be able to see Clem's base as well, and he's going to see the entire thing. He saw everything relevant. Clem kind of hit it all in the back of the base, and Serral didn't take him too long to find it. 3 racks, 2 engineering base. So game 1 will be a full-on macro game. No real attempts at early aggression. I'm not counting that Liberator. All right, that was a scouting Liberator. Well, we'll pretend. And overall, neither player... Mutas? It is Radicet Station, which, with the bases laid out the way they are, with the difficulty of attacking into the first 3, does open up a lot more opportunities for air units, whether they be Mutas or Medivacs, usually both, to find an option, an open, a gap in the defense. The question will be, who's first? Will Clem be able to get any damage done before the Mutas show up in his base? Or does Serral bat down the Medivacs? And the Medivacs will be out first. And use the Mutas to carve open an opportunity for the ground army. It is a quick switch. Interesting, he goes for the roaches early and then follows it up with the metabolic boost, the Baneling speed, the Zergling speed. There's a reason. Creep itself is a speed boost. Just closing the distance quickly. Zerg don't believe in social distancing. All right, whatever the opposite is. Now, the Mutas, he's banked up enough for about 10 of them, right as the Spire finishes. 10 Mutas on the way, but the double medevac drop is in position. The slow legs will move to intercept the Marines, but the Marines will gun them down almost as quickly. There's enough of them to keep Clem at bay. Hellions working their way towards the north. Combat shield about to complete, and 1-1 isn't too far off, and that's when those Marines are going to be most dangerous. But thankfully for Serral, and it's not an accident, he's already got the Mutas out. Serral at 140 to 120 supply, but part of that is because Clem hasn't quite finished up his production yet. As long as he doesn't end up losing these 2 medevacs of units, he should... I mean, look at how late Clem's upgrades are. I mean, Serral's upgrades, rather. Wow, he did not expect this at all. I can't believe Clem is caught so unaware. He saw the gas geysers. He doesn't have a single turret. A Bronze League hero would have done better against these men. Well, they probably would have already died, but... and not necessarily saying the Bronze League heroes are better than Clem, but in this very specific scenario of not having turrets against Mutas, at the 7-something minute mark, you know what? Oh, denies that base. Now, while the Mutas were able to get some damage done, they've carved out all of the map control. Clem still trying to find an opportunity. Serral, not able to pick off so many SCVs that Clem is particularly hamstrung, but now Serral has 86 drones. He's building more Mutas. Ooh, Widow Mine connects, and that will make things a bit more difficult. He actually sees the mine, so he's going to know there's not an armory done yet. So his upgrades aren't going to be too far behind. But overall, Clem still will have an opportunity to move out potential. Unless the Muta's just, like, he's just flying right through. Honestly, a lot of Terran players have not dealt with Mutas very much. Since the new patch, I think more dependent on the map pool than it is the actual changes to the units. But any map where it takes so long to get across the map with ground units, Mutas are going to find more success. Of course, if Clem is able to max out, his army is going to be larger. He could have 2-2 quicker. If Serral allows him to survive that long, and attacking into the 3 bases directly is unlikely to find success. But the Mutas can continue to harry the turrets, to force Marines to be anchored back at the base, and to allow Serral to take essentially the rest of his half of the map without Clem pestering him about it. Serral doing the one thing that a lot of players will forget about with Mutas. It somehow seems to be delayed so dramatically that it ends up being an issue, but Serral's getting an infestation pit. He already finished it up here. He's already finished the infestation pit. Is now able to unlock the hive while still doing damage. He's flying his way through. The Mutaflock, 23 Mutas, and the legs and banes as soon as Clem sticks his neck out. Well, looking like a mighty swarm-based guillotine here is Serral. Clem's got to watch out. He's getting his 4th base. He's nearly maxed out. There are plenty of Widow Mines, which can soften things up. A good Widow Mine hit can change the game either way. Hive is in production. Serral not going to risk a big fight into an entrenched Terran army. Looks like he's comfortable enough, you know, taking the rest of the map. But allowing Clem to maintain that 4th base is dangerous. He has the best micro in the business. All right, there's a reason why he's the only player who's defeated Serral this year. In this same tournament, by the way, ESL Europe. So, all right, the Mutas coming in from the north. Widow Mine eaten by some roaches. There's nothing dangerous there. Not really. Only if it hits the banelings is really when it starts to do the damage. Serral has 5,500 minerals in the bank. 1,800 gas. He's got... A hive is already done. Adrenal gland should be starting. There you go. Neural parasite, ultralisk cavern, +2 flyer attack about to complete. Clem, no slouch. 4 command centers on the way. 5 turrets. Partridge and a pear tree. as well as a Ghost Academy and vehicle plating. So, Serral is ready to go, but Clem is well set to defend. A few bad angles and a couple bad fights could turn the momentum around, but Serral not known for making that many mistakes in a row. We'll have to see how it goes here. There's a Widowmine. I don't think the Changeling spots it. Widowmine actually gets sniped off. He saw it just in time, and meanwhile, the Lings and Banelings are making their way over to the 3 o'clock base. Banelings rolling through. Widowmines, but he's dragging the shots into the Overseers. More Banelings rolling in. The Widowmines won't connect in time, and the Marines retreat behind the lines. A Planetary Fortress canceled at the last moment. It manages to save the command center. It's not like he doesn't have more of them, but he needs to get that into a planetary, or at least established yet again before the Ultralisk wave hits. As Serral has decided it's time for Tower Defense Zerg. He's now going to take down the rocks, mine out the mineral wall, and unleash the entirety of the swarm. We got +3/+3 on the way across the board. Clem's going to have an advantage, but he doesn't have ghosts. Does he? Barely any liberators. There's a wide open timing for Serral to swing in with Hive Tech and smash like it's that cinematic from Heart of the cool one. You know what I'm talking about. Manx didn't have any ghosts. It was a big mistake. Last time he had ghosts, didn't work out for him. Ask Kerrigan. Moving on. Infestor on the way. 5 Dropper Lords. Widowmine trying to get a shot. Not quite finding it. Oh, I don't... Oh, oh, up. All right, well. Ignore those noises, Serral. Stand just out of range, almost taunting him. And Chitinous Plating is about to complete. And, well, both these players getting everything while simultaneously fighting, but the Lings and Banes are coming in from the back. Banelings will blunt the attack. The Mutas looking to intercept the Medivacs, and their saviors will instead become their death. As the Medivacs are taken up at the Ultra in a tough position here, the Ghosts will show up, line up a couple shots, knock out one Ultra. Planetary helping out, but Clem manages to turn a disastrous situation into a salvageable one. It looked like Serral might be able to sweep him off the field there, but he just dusted him into a corner for now. Still, though, looking like all Serral all the time. Clem has managed somehow to carve out not 1 but 2 bases. Outside. Oh, my God. That Ultra is so stuck. Help me, step mains. I'm stuck. Well, here comes Serral. Oh, there it is. The Burrowfester. Serral's trademark. Somehow, always finds an area without detection. He already knows where the turrets are. He's waiting for the opportunity. He pops it up, lands the fungal, and Banelings are rolling in. Can Clem retreat in time? The Widowmine tries to hit, almost takes out a medevac full of units. Thor is cut to pieces. Banelings roll into the planetary, and the planetary will not survive. Serral's tide continues to roll in, and Clem doing very little to actually fight back. There's a big difference between winning the game and not losing, and I think Clem right now demonstrating it. He's able to survive, but 47 Banelings in production. Serral smells blood. And it might be his own, but it's even more of Clem's. Oh god, the medevac somehow survives. The Widowmines will cover it. High sec auto tracking is done for however much that'll good him. However good that'll... You know what? I'm abandoning that sentence. Just like Clem is going to have to abandon his... He's using Liberators as anti-muta. Ah, just like the good old days. When you could counter everything with Liberators. More Zerglings coming in. Snipes, knocking out one of the Ultras, but they can't do much against the Banes. The Widowmine will step up to the plate and knock out a couple dozen. The Liberators looking to siege. Not really finding an opportunity. Good splits from Clem, but 14 SCVs, 50 supply. Serral has already replenished it. 5 Infestors, plus 3 Flyer attack. The Mutas were not even part of that fight. Clem again survives. But, oh, he's using the Widowmines to help kill the Liberators. I'm not actually sure how successful that is against +2 plating Liberators. It's been so long since I've seen Liberators killing Mutas. Both these units not really used in this. Well, Liberator's still popular, but oh my god. What? It's happened. It's kind of working. The plating upgrades seem to be very effective against the kind of bounce attacks. But he's not gonna stop. There's still plenty of bases that he hasn't even really mined from. Serral can keep doing this for another like 15 minutes at this rate before he even thinks about running out. And in fact, Clem has lost more minerals, but about 3k less gas. Oh, the Widow Mine dragged out, and the Ultras, Lings, and Banes, adding in some Corruptors to deal more direct. Oh my god, how does the Infestor, how does he skirt the edge even of the scans? That doesn't even make sense. Here come the Banelings. Infestors on the back line. The Ultra chewing through. The Corruptors to clear the skies. But, well, the Liberator's holding the line. More Ultras trickling in, but actually, that didn't go as horribly as I thought it would. I was really winding up for the big win there, but Clem holds. But at what cost? 52 more Banelings. He's popping about like, he keeps trapping his Ultras against the temple. Let them watch. Okay, stop making it weird. Make it a little weird. Stop! Is Advanced Ballistics done? Indeed it is. And so is High Sec Auto Tracker. The Muta's gonna have a tough time here. There's an Infestor waiting. They're always waiting. Oh my god. Not again. There's always another Infestor. He pops it out. That one doesn't land but he has two! Oh, he's been waiting so long for his moment, and it finally comes. And another Infestor from the north side will die to the Planetary, but the Ultras, the Banelings, and Serral is far too much. A cinematic Zerg in Game 1. Beautiful to watch, but a bit disheartening for those Clem fans out there. Serral took the initiative with the Mutas, and he never let it go. If you get stuck kind of bottled up in your base just like that, God. This is where we're like, yeah, but other Terrans wouldn't have survived as long. Which, it isn't really a competition to see who survives here in StarCraft 2. But sometimes against Serral, it feels like that's where we end up. All right. Jimmy, please. Game 2. It's going to be on hard lead. And a hard-fought lead for Serral. 1-0. I think Clem just gave up too much. I'm super surprised he didn't have a turret. These kind of builds are mapped out usually to the first medevacs and then some. But I think Clem a little bit on autopilot there. And that ended up costing him. As not really thinking about Mutas. Even though that, of all the maps, by far the most common on that map. Not that they're a common strat, but Mutas on Radicet Station have become the meta. But I don't think Clem goes down that easily. Alright. He didn't become the best Terran player in the world by just giving up when he has a tough game. And honestly, at risk of being hypocritical, but some of those fights, it felt like he had no right to survive. As Serral should have just forced him to crumble under the weight of that much Zerg. But Serral still, or Clem still managed to maintain enough of his key units. And there were some little victories in there, like the realization of both sides that, like, armor upgraded Liberators are actually a thing, and they're pretty good at fighting Mutas. Feels like something we learned like 8 years ago. Wow, it's been 8 years since Legacy of the Void came out. But then Liberators were kind of nerfed, and we didn't bother with it much anymore. But yeah, still okay splash damage, and pretty tanky. And not that much more costly than a Muta, so Of course, Widow Mines usually have a better return on investment, but Serral doesn't seem... Oh! Oh my. Oh, here, Clem's back at it again. Cyberbullying drones. I'm almost able to deny that base outright, but... Starport? Yeah, Starport. It does feel like we've moved away from the 3 per open. For some months, usually mostly before the New Balance patch, the 2 Rax Reaper, sometimes 3 Rax Reaper, resurged. Thanks. Well, Beyond always gets credit. He's got a copy, like, essentially he has a stake in Reapers till the end of time. It doesn't matter who does it, it's Beyond. And in this case, a lot of the time it was Beyond, but it does seem to have dropped off. I think Zerg players just kind of figured it out. They adapted. It still can find a lot of success against many Zergs, but Serral is not many Zergs. I don't think Clem's gonna risk too much. I wouldn't be surprised to see it once, maybe twice, but it does kind of force you down that path. That's a lot of Zerglings, Serral. So let's talk about the builds that are happening right now. The Queen's kind of conspicuous in how far out they're going. You think he bought it? I don't know. We should go out there and poke him again. You just want to poke him, Karen. Stop being weird. Don't tell me what to do. Sorry, I blacked out for Serral with a whole bunch of Zerglings on the way across the map. And Clem has 11 SCVs completely undefended. Hellion pops out. The rest of the Hellions scrambling back, but the Zerglings are in the main, which isn't necessarily the end of the world, as he's able to save the SCVs. That one Hellion popping out at the right time here, making a huge difference. Serral does. Oh my god. Clem, completely unscouted Zerglings get into his base, and he loses not 1, but 2 SCVs. Wow. Crazy. No, that's actually way less damage than probably should have been dealt there. Serral built a ton of drones behind this, but now his lair is a bit of an odd timing. Some Zerglings kind of anticipating this potential. Yeah, he saw a few more Zerglings and decided to keep those Hellions alive. It does look like Serral going to just stay back defense. He was thinking maybe about another wave, but now he's just thinking about keeping himself safe. But honestly, with the cloak done here, is there even a spore crawler? An air unit flying in unprepared for Serral? How the turntables have turned. And DJ Clem is laying down some sick beats as he drops some hot fire into this bait. 5 drone kills. Doesn't quite get another queen. But if there's anyone who knows about when to kill queens, it's the Frenchman over here. And 7 drones so far, and he's bought so much time. He forced those drones to be rebuilt, and he kept most of the Hellions alive. A great start here for Clem. Overseer on the way. Now, you can't expect to be too far ahead in workers, you can't expect to be ahead in workers, but just getting your 3rd base comfortably, getting those upgrades out. Unlike last game, he's been able to keep constant tabs on what Serral is doing and where he's expanding. It's partially the map, but just partially how the builds have played out. He's not going to be surprised by something like mutas. 1, they're not on the way, and 2, he knows exactly when Serral's getting anything. He's got Banshees in the main. He's getting more kills. Serral struggling. Oh, cloaks that Banshee at the last. Why are you coming? What are you doing? You're in range of the spore, right? Oh my god. How does he? It doesn't have an indicator. He just knows. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. Literally using every single last point of health. He has 10 kills, 3 kills on the Banshee. He's gonna go home. That is, he uses the whole Banshee. Okay? You only need 1 HP to kill drones. Technically correct. Yeah, Serral is at 4 base. He's got 75 drones, but he doesn't have another level of tech. He doesn't have Hydras. He doesn't have Mutas. He doesn't have an upgrade advantage. So Clem, well, Clem doesn't have combat shield, so he's got to be careful until that completes. But otherwise, it's a very opportune timing for Clem to come in and if not do critical damage, at least trade well and set himself up for a follow-up push. And those banelings kind of getting stuck behind the queens there. There's a flank coming around to the north side. Serral looking to wind up and attack. The Hellbats are covering the retreat. And here comes Serral from both sides. Those uncombat shielded Marines looking like a snack for the banelings. But the target fire from Clem, he activates his aimbot and takes down enough of them. And it, I think, ends up being a pretty okay trade there. It maybe not as good as it could have been, but he kept the creep at bay, and he's able to force more Zerglings out of Serral. And this is a key point, because more Zerglings, believe it or not, are not drones. And while Serral's drone count is pretty healthy, oh my, holy shit. Well, he's gonna pick this up here. That's not gonna go as great. But the target fire, he just gunned down half a dozen banelings, but he may be losing that medevac in turn. He's now got 30 supplies stranded in the corner. Clem has a slight supply lead, which is a good sign at this stage, but that can turn very quickly if he drops the ball on any side of this. But the creep was pushed back, which means Serral was not able to react quickly. Without that vision, Serral's starting to have to react as opposed to taking the initiative here. And Clem, this is going to be a series of momentum. Both of them, it's a lot more about what they can get. He covers his medevac's retreat with the other medevac moving in and manages to maneuver just perfectly enough that he gets all three out, including the one at like 10. He uses the whole medevac. All right. Much to the dismay of everyone inside. Meanwhile, we're just going to ignore what happened over there. Banelings rolling in on the right side. And on the left. Everywhere Banelings, but there is one Widowmine to retreat to. That could be disastrous from Clem. Oh, Clem realizes that Widowmine may have killed those medevacs, but a Baneling drop out of Serral. What? Out of nowhere. Two can play at this game. A dozen SCVs. Clem, completely unprepared. Blind. I can't remember the last time I've seen a Baneling drop. Who needs mutas? Wow, Serral, just like that, strikes back. But look at the supply. Even though Clem eats some losses there, Serral is struggling to keep enough units on the field. A few banelings, but Clem's economy is still perfectly fine. He's got 7 barracks, going on 8. I think he counted 8 is the number. Everybody knows 8 is the number. God, these guys are so good. Just chilling. Clem has more APM than Serral. What the hell? Might I remind you, Serral is the Zerg player. 475 APM. That is obscene. Oh, but not enough, because Serral finding an opportunity. Serral's dropping the back. He's pushing at the front. He's burrowed Zerglings. I don't know if Clem noticed, but +2 attack is done. Serral does have a hive. Does he have adrenal glands? No. He just finished up the hive, retreating back. The Marines getting so incredibly, dangerously, tantalizingly close to the Banelings, but not close enough. And Serral's he just had to build some more Overlords. He was supply blocked at 175, which means Clem is still maintaining a significant army supply lead. The Widowmines were burrowed alongside the Zerglings, but once the Zerglings unburrow, they take a bite out of them. And the Banshees are back. Oh my, Clem using everything here. Clearly not tilted from game 1, just inspired. Serral, he needs that adrenal glands. He needs to survive the next couple minutes without losing a base. Otherwise, Clem's momentum may crush him. Those Banshees added in, giving some pretty reliable anti-ground options here. There aren't too many queens. Well, there's a dozen queens. Never mind, I didn't say anything. Meanwhile, the Lings and Banes, but that spread, I can't believe it's not butter. Beautiful spread out of Clem here, retreating back, letting the Widowmines get some massive hits. And the Banshees, some of them being taken out by the Queens, but one of them survives and still picking off some of it. A whole bunch of Queens. Accidental Cyclone in production, gutting down Regicide here. near the 5th base of Serral, who's going to go for a counterattack. Quarantines one of the medevacs from Parasitic Bomb. Widowmine connects. The Terran army. The DPS looks like it might be just too much. The Widowmines will whittle down more than enough of the Lings and Banes. And behind it, the counterattack didn't do anything of note. It looks like the oh my god, he just slurps him up away. And there's a planetary right there in the center. Get out of here, Serral. Knocks him right back. Adrenal Glands is done, but not too many Zerglings left over. 76 Zerg still. 190 to 160 supply. Clem in pole position here. It's not over yet, but that... Oh! From downtown, that Widowmine had a just 32 kills. A long-range intercontinental ballistic nail in the coffin. And with it, Serral, what might have been a tenuous hold, I think, is going to be anything but. That's not enough units. The EMPs are already here. They go Serral. The army supply doubled for the Frenchman. He's cleaning up everything back at home and sweeping through on the creep on the other side. Plus, but the fungal! A fungal just in time to save the day. But, how about the next one? Oh my god, that Infestor, feels like he's really playing with fire there. The only way, another beautiful fungal. He's trying to drag the Widowmine in. It's not enough. Those medevacs looking mighty vulnerable to Parasitic Bomb, but Clem sends out the APM drainers, the Widowmines, the Liberators, these units that are so hard to deal with quickly, that take a technical response that forces you to potentially make a mistake. And if you make you might not make any mistakes, and Clem could still grind you down. Serral's struggling, but somehow has held on to his bases. And Parasitic Bomb combined with Widowmines just cast them. He goes for... Oh, come on. How does he only kill 2 medevacs? Clem splits his medevacs as well as his bio. I shouldn't be surprised. He's dragging out a lot of the energy, and Serral is pushed up against his hatchery, trying to use the mines against Clem, finding mild success. But the Marines and the Marauders, they don't even have 3-3 done. Serral's Lings are actually better upgraded, which I think is why this is even remotely close here. Whoa, whoa, Serral. Not dead yet. Oh my god, the Infestors, but there's so many mines. The Ultras are out, the Herolisks. And another Infestor from downtown, the Widowmine doing the damage as well. The Ultras are dragging the hits. Another Widowmine connects on to the medevacs. And Serral will not die. But to quote an arguably great man, me, there's a big difference between winning and not losing. And Serral has succeeded in not losing. And the thing is, though, these are units that can turn everything around. He's got Vipers. He's got Infestors. He throws out Parasitic Bombs. Ultralisk at the front. Clem, ready to hold the line with the Planetary Fortress. But Serral, even when he's dead, he can still live. And with that, it's still a tough situation for the finisher. But, wow, Drilling Claws. A bit of an oversight from Clem. No Drilling Claws, making it harder to reposition the mines, though still strong. Finally, everything was cleared up in that bottom left corner. And Serral starting to stabilize here. Clem is still maxed out. He's slowing it down, not letting things like Ultras tilt this around. That Infestor. There's Infestors everywhere. How are they here? It's a fungal. Where's the Parabomb? Wombo combo, but it's a little late, and he's able to quarantine the medevacs. They're both over 500. This is a 1,000 APM game on average. Drilling Claws is done. Marauders, I don't know how that hatch is still alive. The Ultras filtering through, but not enough Zerglings with him. A big counterattack from Serral leaves him lacking on the other side of the map, but Well, Liberator's in position. Widowmine stacking things up. Big hit there, but he gets the hatch. Meanwhile, this is going to be cleaned up. There's an infestor at the back. Where's my picture-in-picture, Jimmy? If there was ever a game for it. Like and subscribe for production. Oh, the fungal! It doesn't get any better than that! Oh my god, the ultimate wombo combo! That ain't Widowmines, that's Infestors and Vipers, and the Banelings are rolling through. The Ultralisk taking advantage of the situation, but Clem had enough reinforcements to stem the tide of Serral and turn it right back. And the Banelings burrowed. He still has them. At this point, like, what are you even going to trigger them on? There's not enough Marines. He's building Liberators. I can't tell if he's intentionally building Cyclones or if that's a misclick he keeps adding in. Oh, another moth! God, terrible, terrible damage across the board. Another parasitic bomb. Incredible. Serral still fighting for his life. Clem has lost some of the potential game-ending opportunities that he had, but he still has the advantage. He has the right army composition. He has all the upgrades. He knows Serral is not maxed out with a bank. How did he break him in game one? Just endless 300 supply Zerg. Serral can't even put 200 together. So that isn't really an option right now. What a game. Ultras, Zerglings, Vipers, oh my. Serral really, like, he's playing with this high economy army, but he just doesn't have the resources behind it. But he can't let Clem settle, because then he'll just start picking him apart. So he has to fight. But the margins are so thin. Oh no. Oh no, a Liberator picks off two. No, not another one. These are the kind of things. Neither player paying attention to this side, but the Liberator gets the kills. 11, 14 SCVs in the top right corner, but those Infestors were very important. And now they're very dead. There's only one Infestor burrowed. That's a lot. Serral probably wondering where the hell they went. Oh my, 17 SCVs down. Clem still, he just can't kill him. He can't end it. I don't think he noticed the Infestors, and would it really matter? You still have to get aggressive. The Liberators are covering both sides of this without the Infestors to hold that bio army in position. It gets harder and harder. I keep saying that. I keep assuming that at some point... Oh, no! God. The Widowmines, the Liberators covering, but Clem is forced to commit these units back at home. The Queens are pulled off the line again. More Widowmines on both sides. Ultralisk across the board. The Liberators still poking. And the Infestor moves into position. Serral has lost so much. 73 Widowmines dead. 884 Zerglings. The bio army, the bases are running dry on both sides. But Serral is not maxed. Parasitic Bomb almost loses the Vipers here. Serral on the run. These Widowmines continue to reap quite a harvest. 27 kills. Another attack. More mines. He's targeting the Infestor. Just right-clicking with the bio. It's enough. Serral struggling to keep any Infestor he doesn't have underground alive, and even the ones that are burrowed are quite a difficulty. Liberator. There's nothing to take. Where are the Queens? How many are left? Only 4. And he needs them for inject, but he needs them for anti-air. He has a lot of needs, but they're not being met. Another beautiful fungal. But the bio army is still intact. Serral's losing his spellcasters. The Ultralisk will crumble And I think he's cut off the economy. If he can deal with this counterattack, that's check and mate. Clem, GG, game 2, 1-1. What a game. Oh my God. Game 3. I have nothing else to say about that. Alcyone. A cyclone. No. No, we stopped calling it that. I can't stop seeing it though. Comes out with the cyclone patch build. Or map pool. I may lose my voice by the end of this, but I'll never need it again. This will be the last StarCraft 2 series you ever see from me, and it'll be the best one. It's so insane. This is madness. This is late stage StarCraft 2, where the details, like, they both land. I think the key is they both are able to land the hits. But they both are able to hit back at the same time. Like, there's only so much micro you can do at once. It feels like we keep pushing that limit a bit, though. It feels like the building of units and, like, the mechanics, the injects and all that stuff that everyone under 6,000 MMR, which is everyone but about 24 people, by the way. Everyone under 6,000 MMR struggles with, feels like they have it on autopilot. Like, there's always more units coming out. There's always creep spreading. There's always injects. There's always production being added. They've just perfected it. It is literally just muscle memory. I've never seen a Terran player in, like, a real game average over 500 APM. Zergs, yes. And why Zergs? Because simply creating Zerglings, one, they're cheap, and two, the act of creating a Zergling is 2 APM compared to building like a Marine, which is, or it's 3. You gotta select the hatch, select the larva, and then build the Zergling. So just because of one, Zerg having so many more units, and two, the process, I've said this in the low APM challenge, is Zerg just naturally has a higher APM. And yes, not every action is useful. I'm sure, especially at the beginning of the game, when these players are pretending to be at 400, like, but I've never seen a Terran player at that level, and you can see it in the play. Like, it's clear. He is just faster. I am not used to seeing Serral that stressed on so many fronts. But of course, Serral is capable. Well, apparently 400 APM doesn't teach you how to close your depot door. This is another scenario where it's like, who's locked in here with who, though? Like, and it appears the answer is, unclear still. As Serral gets a full scout and kills an SCV, but those Zerglings are cleaned up. So, and the scout is of nothing in particular. Like, okay, he's got a 3rd CC, he's gone 1-1-1, Barracks Factory Starport. Brenda, come back, get back here, get back to the creep. Back in my day, I used to be able to fly. Back before the war. Just stop, Brenda, stop. Sorry. Roach weren't on the way. So we're gonna go back to the roaches. I think they did exactly what they needed to in game 1, which is give him a stable platform to launch his lair tech from. They aren't like Dark will whoa, okay. Thinking about it. Just pulls back at the right moment. It's an art form. And the Liberator sieges it. Wow. Well, actually the Queens are more than ready, but are they though? I think Serral's already... Wait, did he mine out the mineral? He did. Because this part of the map is actually not available to ground units until you mine through the mineral wall. He tried to get the queen, and then Clem! Clem holds the door. Oh, he uses it against him. This is Clem's house now. Oh, kind of go through the rocks here. Really, I've never seen this map. It isn't that weird of a map once you open everything up, but Clem, I mean, Terran is only one letter off of Terran. So, conspiracy? We got double Evo chamber. That is a late double Evo, and he's getting roach speed though. Later, especially compared to Clem. He is getting roach speed. So it doesn't look, yeah, rushing high maybe. It doesn't look like he's gonna be going to mutas this game, but instead, he's setting up a creep highway. The Queens, or not even a creep highway, just creep spreading more quickly out towards that gold base. I've never seen a Zerg player take the gold base quite so quickly. The Zerglings will split, trying to minimize potential damage against the Hellions, and Clem always looking for it. But the gold base, much more efficient, mining approximately 40%. It's 7 minerals returned instead of 5 on each drone. So you have the same amount of minerals at the base, but you can mine it with less drones, less workers. So it gives you a boost to economy overall. Very helpful, especially at this stage of the game for Zerg, when you're struggling to get your economy online before the Terran player starts poking and prodding. So it's going to be... I've never seen anyone take that so quickly in this sort of game. And now, well, Serral's going to have a lot to work with. You see that economy kicking in immediately. 82 drones, hive on the way, Baneling nest. But Clem just shows up with a couple squads of Marines, guns down a queen, and retreats back for the medevac. Roaches boxing out on the right flank. Oh my god, he waits. I just held my breath. Clem did not. Clem was fine. He's breathing easy. But he waited until, like, the last split second to pull back from those corrosive buzz. +1 mech weapons on the way. Yes, the Liberators are annoying. Queen's gonna tag team it. But, overall, the Liberators just serving to drag the Queens out of position. Try to open up an opportunity. He hasn't built any tanks yet. Oh, there we are. Oh, he has 3 tanks. He's just been on offense this entire time, so we haven't seen him. Combat shield not done yet. Clem pulls back. The corrosive battles end up killing Lings. The Vipers are already on the way. Serral has read this like a particularly easy book. All right. He's got his hive is already done. He knows it's going to be a tank push. Otherwise, well, I mean, getting Vipers is always good. But if this was Widow Mines or something like that, you would probably want either Hydras and Lurkers, or just to spam units. But in going for the Vipers, and ooh, he's going to have the tools to deal with pretty much anything. Let's be clear though, like going Vipers is just kind of a default for when you finish the hive. In fact, Clem, I think, gonna realize as well. He's starting to get Widow Mines, Liberators. No, realizing the tank push not gonna happen here. Ooh. He tries to drop both sides, ends up getting deflected on the left and cleaned up on the right. Serral is maxed out with Hive Tech and 2-2 on the way at 9 minutes. He's already got Vipers with energy. He's ready to go. Is Clem prepared? And then he just knocks down all the base. Oh my god. Widow Mines in the most disgusting position. They'll expect some of us in the wreckage, brothers. The Banelings, there's just not enough Marines to gun down that many. The Banelings off of creep with nothing to support is just target practice for Clem. Here we go. Witcherlings and Bane. Not a great angle at all here for Serral. He agrees. Parasitic Bomb quarantines the medevac. Hold position. Wait it out. Another... I think these are accidental, these Cyclones. I do this all the time. Which, not to insult Clem, but I think he means to make Widow Mines, and the hotkey is similar, and he's just jamming it. Because I don't see a reason why you'd be adding Cyclones in at this stage of the game. Or tanks, maybe. Oh. The medevacs boost over. Oh my god. And he gets there. Tom Cruise level save. Just a... wow. It was needlessly stressful. So Clem has held on, but this is not... he hasn't kept Serral at bay. He's survived him. It's a bit of a mix between the two games so far. Serral has not been completely unpressured, and he hasn't been able to do much damage to Clem, but he's banking money and he's maxed out. Against a Clem who also banking money and maxed out. Not nearly as much. Clem is building that late game army, but he is going to have to fight the 300 supply Serral. So now we see essentially the middle ground between these two games. This map is the late game Terran map, though. I've seen Clem. If you watch Clem versus Dark on this map, also an incredible game. It can be the choke points. You see over here where Clem is at the north, and to the south there are these little bridges, kind of like terrain bridges, but Liberators and Ghosts and Planetaries can really lock things down. So streaming through a single gap in the mineral wall. Oh, but also coming in the center. The Viper's in position, throws out a Parasitic Bomb. Clem splits it off. It looks like anything to the top left was cleaned up. Oh, the medevacs came back, so driven back. Not outright killed, but Serral is just banking. We'll know when Serral decides this isn't the unit composition anymore. He's getting Groovy Spines. Okay, Groove Spines for the Hydras. The range upgrade. It looks like he wants to add Hydras in as a late game option. I was wondering if he would kind of progress it in that way. As at this stage, he also added a Spire, though has yet to use it. So preparing maybe for Corruptors, potentially Broodlords, but those are difficult to make work. Well, here come the Vipers. And EMPs hit the rest of the energy, but still, so much damage being dealt here. Forced to retreat to the mineral wall, trying to hold the gap, but Serral just comes streaming through. He's gonna kill SCVs. Oh my god, he doesn't even have +3 melee yet. The army is gonna get cleaned up, but at what cost? +3 melee attack can one-shot SCV, but I do think +3 armor blocks it, so... Or it used to be. I don't think it can anymore since the nerf to the Baneling. Less HP, less extra damage from melee attack upgrades. Advanced ballistics on the way. Widow Mines, Liberators, Ghosts, oh my. Here we go. Clem is settling in. But I don't think Serral is going to give him too much time to stabilize. Fungal, no! Not this time. Most of those Marines slaughter before they can get even close. And Serral coming in for another round. He's got money in the bank, and he's got the right army to break planetary fortresses. Blinding Cloud, both the tanks negated. The planetary, nothing to see, nothing to shoot, and nothing to live for. Down go everything. I say the Banelings, but with it the planetary. That was kind of intentional with the Banelings. It just felt weird to say down go the Banelings, because that's kind of the whole point. Meanwhile, down go the Banelings, down towards the planetary to the south. Crashing in, down it goes. Gotta find a new phrase. Total annihilation. Nope, not that one. But Clem losing 2 bases in 30 seconds there. And Serral rebuilds. There's plenty of command centers, but he has to mine eventually. He's already invested in those command centers. He's got to find some use for them. Liberators trying to find an opportunity, but the Queens, the creep, has spread most of the way across. Widow Mine. Huge hit. Those hits a bit more of a mixed bag. Some ghosts gonna go down. Retreating. Clem just doesn't have enough boots on the ground right now. The Ultras can't actually get to the high ground awkwardly, as the gap is not wide enough. Oh, Widowmine's still finding a lot of damage, but it's not enough. Serral is rolling through him. It isn't a decisive victory, but eventually Serral will grind him down. Sooner rather than later. Clem has one more fight, maybe. If it isn't a decisive success, well, we're going to be going to game 4. I don't know how it will be. How it could be. Serral already has 2 more tech routes that he hasn't used, but he's set up for. He has the Hydra upgrades and he has a Spire done. +2 flyer attack is done, and he hasn't even built any Spire units. That's not an accident. Oh, the finisher with the finishing move! The fungal! The surround! He just crushes through. Clem? But wait. There's more. Up to the north side. GG. It's too much. Serral is up 2-1. I'm not able to slow him down there. The roaches in the early game working out just to kind of keep Clem busy. Still a great match, but clearly Serral, it's all about momentum here. Whoever is able to grab it early has maintained it throughout the series. Even game 2, where Clem, it was tenuous. Still had the advantage for most of the game up through to his victory. So now, we'll see. Match point. Serral 2, Clem 1. Going to Ocean War. Most beautiful map, most clip-worthy, as those units float up instead of sink to the ground, somewhat ironically. A 16 hatch from Serral, where you get via Extractor Trick 16 drones, and then get your hatchery, and then get your Overlord and spawning pool. So while this isn't quite as economical, you don't get quite as much economy as you would if you made it like Overlord and then a couple more drones. You also get the hatchery done much quicker, making it less vulnerable to early aggression. And if you get the spawning pool on time, you can get the queens a little quicker too. It's just generally a slightly, and especially in Zerg versus Protoss, where those pesky probes will look to block your base. It gets it a little bit quicker, just to make sure you have it done. And those queens getting started immediately, all timed out. SCV, waiting to see how many Zerglings come out, it seems here. Or maybe, so this map does have a pretty distinct choice of third base. I think Clem wants to block the third, no matter which direction it is. He sent the SCV out and kept it around until the Reaper got there. So he was looking to block the third if a drone came out. No drone attempted from Serral. He'll go for the inject first. It's not going to be a creep tumor. And just in case, this is our last game. Thank you for watching. If you haven't yet liked and subscribed, I've been having a lot of fun. I think it's been a pretty good cast so far. I mean, made very easy by these two. It's always very easy when the thing you think is going to happen happens because they're near perfect. But thank you for watching. Roaches from Serral. And no third. So a curious timing. The lair. Let's Gonna be Cyclones out of Clem. This actually, I think, is going to work out very well for Clem. As against the quick lair, did he see there's no second guess? I believe he did. In fact, he's going to get down the ramp and he's going to see.
Complete.
That gives a lot away here. And the Cyclones, 2 at a time. The Reaper refuses to die. Finally goes down. But it got a full scout here. Cloak Banshee on the way. Probably a pretty smart choice. The only thing he's going to need to worry about, I think, is a Nidus. Serral is at 42 drones. He's got Overlord speed on the way. I think he's just wants to cover his base. Oh, Queen drop. The German taxi build, but the Cyclones show up. Will he maintain Overlord drop against a Cyclone opener? Banshee's on the way. We'll see. Yeah, the Overlord drop, the German taxi build. It's a little bit harder to pull off when you don't have any Overlords. That one overlooking the darting back and forth here, that's certainly it's a dangerous one. Overseer flies through the whole base. Just wanted to get a certain scout here. And right now, there's no Overlord speed. This is, I mean, those Cyclones, they don't do a ton of damage, but they're effectively untouchable. He's just managing the edge of the range so well. Ravagers, technically, but... Oh, there's a Banshee? Oh, he's gonna get the Ravager? This is, he's gonna drop the Queens to fight this, but... Well, this is certainly a choice. He can drop some creep here. It's all ready. Serral on the back feet. No matter how many his units have. It's not going well. Clem has more workers. He's got a 3rd command center finishing. Yes, Serral sees all of this. It looks like Serral wanted to punish what Clem has been doing every game, but Clem mixed it up. Clem has been going for the 1-1-1 with Hellions, maybe a Liberator or a Banshee, and then just building Marines. This game, he went with the Cyclones, and it paid off. And I think he did it because Serral had such a late 3rd hatchery. But, well, we'll see. Where's that Overseer? We won't see. Serral will not see anything. Those are Cloak Banshees. He cannot see them. This is a bit painful. Well, Overseer on the way back to Queens. Get back there! Oh my god. One of the more ridiculous. He actually snipes the Banshee. Clem does have to be careful. What does he got? He's got 2 tanks. Serral's creep spreading here. Ravager might get picked off. He gets a transfuse. He steps back onto the creep and channels the creep energy into the transfuse, which is what you gotta do. Well, it appears Serral has managed to slap this attack together. And MacGyvered his way across the map and has something. He's now creep spreading. Oh no, but just when it was looking okay, the Hellions come in. They're gonna roast away Serral's hopes and dreams of ending this with a Queen drop all in. Yeah, 10 drones. It might not be the end of things. Oh my, well, it's not getting any better. Oh my, well, it's not good. This is certainly not great. 17 drones, 20 drones. I'm very good at counting. They even have the little counter there, so I don't have to try too hard. 23. Oh, this is an absolute, that's a disaster. So there's creep everywhere, but creep, unfortunately for Serral, does not attack. No, it is very intimidating. There are 3 queens in that Overlord. Feeling a little uncomfortable with hanging out here, but... This feels like a dark game here. This is a very dark strategy. And it feels like he's going to lose horribly, just like when Dark does this most of the time. But... I'm looking like, is there roach speed? Yes. The Banshees are... It's really... Like, you can't leave the game yet because he hasn't actually attacked you. but I'm sure Serral's thinking about it, is that he can't land the command center because of the creep. He just lands it off to the side, whatever. Gets a scan out of it. 1-1 is now done. He can't... They drop our queens. The queen paratrooper squad. We're here. A bit late. Combat shield is done, but that doesn't matter too much. Does he have an infester? No. Well, here comes Clem. Gonna oblige Serral by actually attacking. And he's gonna take a minor, well, moderate miracle here to defend this. If Clem stacks up all of his tanks in exactly the same spot for corrosive bile, and he stims his marines 3 times. Well, he gets to that was about best case there. 8 drones down. Remember, behind this, Clem's building a dozen marines at a time. He's getting +2. Even though this is going not as well as it might look, that's too much damage. The queens are fine. Serral refuses to tap it out yet. But another wave of reinforcements. Another set of siege tanks. And the Marines hold the line. Clem bats down Serral's cheeky attempt at the queen drop and takes the game back. 2-2. We're going all the way to game 5. Oh, well, that was a different one. Breath of fresh air in a series of intense, drawn-out macro games. Serral comes out with a kind of felt like a bit of a half-hearted queen drop cheese. But if Clem had stuck with the same build he's been doing, it likely would have found a lot more success. But Clem understands you don't want to be too predictable, especially for someone like Serral. Jimmy, game 5. Oh my god. Sorry. 2-2. On the top right, the Frenchman from Team Liquid. It's Clem. And of course, opposite him, we have Serral on Solaris. It will all be decided. Very dramatic sounding map. What do you do, like... A bit odd. Serral obviously thought he had a chance with that one. It's just Clem scouted it out. He was perfectly prepared for it. The Cyclones can very easily deal with the early aggression out of Zerg. Of course, they are a bit of a costly investment. Any amount of gas spent on not tech for your Marines does slow them down, which is dangerous against someone like Serral. Even if you think the Cyclones might be able to get something done, slowing down the transition into Marines and Medevacs leaves a gap, potentially. But he picked all the right choices, and Serral had tough no-win calls to make. And now, we're down to 1 game. Looks like we're going back to something closer to default here. Again, Clem scouting with the SCV and looking to keep track of what Serral's up to. Serral does have no quick third, which is a weird sentence to navigate. He doesn't have a third. He does have 100 gas. Don't tell me he does it again. Zergling speak. Alright. Okay. Somebody arrest that man. That should be illegal. Even tries to go for the drone despite the queens popping out. He gets a drone kill because of course he does. Well. Third command center is on the way. And now, looks like we're going right back to the stock standard. Will Clem be able to put enough pressure onto Serral in time? Or will he grow too... Oh my god. Clem, the best oncologist in the business, bounces the queen out of the way, hits the creep tumor, gets out, no problem. Joins up with the Hellions. Is he really gonna run back? What? That's a crazy move. Trying to keep him guessing, but Serral did have enough Zerglings. That was a bit of a blunder there. I guess he got a good scout. That's what we say when he clearly didn't do enough to justify it. All right, good scout there. Scouty at Zergling speed. No gases at the net. It is important, but... you don't want to give up too much map control. And that's what Hellions are. They're not drone killers. They were last game, but that's second to map control. That's second to the ability to keep the creep and the Zerglings at bay, to force Serral to constantly respect at least the edges of things, so that way he doesn't just end up with creep over half the map in 80 drones by the 6-minute mark. Okay, maybe 70. Banshees. Hellions looking for an opportunity to get one of the creep tumors, but Serral spread them out in 3 different directions. One of them will make it. Lair is on the way, notably, before he gets the Evo chambers. Do you smell that? It smells like Mutas on a air map. Just... Solaris is very large. Alright, not to judge, but it does have a sheer amount of space in between the bases. So much so that the Mutas might be able to take advantage of it. He hasn't built a Spire yet, so maybe wrong about that one. Painling speed should be on the way, but there's still a lot of gas in the bank. Well, the Queens are dealing with all this. The Banshee's coming in, the Hellions roasting. Gonna drive back the Banshee, still gets into the natural. Gonna see the Evo chamber timing. Serral? Well, I guess he has just enough in order to get his 1-1. Feels like he really wanted to go Mutas, though. Hey, he's got the Evo chambers done. What are you doing, Serral? He gets his +1/+1. Okay. And quite a delay on finishing the Evo chambers and getting all those upgrades. We'll see if he adds any other tech on. Just Banelings. Maybe vetoed the idea. Or I was off base. Maybe I just get too excited for Muta. That's also possible. Well. The Banshees getting driven back over to the right flank, and not enough energy for Cloak. Not that it would matter. Right on the edge of the creep, the Queen's not able to do much about it. Oh, coming back in. That's a bit optimistic. Already a second factory for Clem, by the way. Looks like Widow Mines are certainly on the agenda. First attack coming across. This is a very important... Where's your combat shield? Oh, no. Oh, no. He just started it. It's gonna be late. The one thing. It's an epidemic of Terrans forgetting their combat shield. It's like adrenal glands for Zerg, but even more important by a huge margin. That combat shield, it's not going to be too late, but every second he's not able to engage, and 10 HP makes a huge difference. So that's the difference between stimming once and a Baneling killing you and not. Which, you know, being alive and being unalive are 2 very different things. Hydralisk Den is on the way. Clem does have a lot of supply on the field, and Serral does not have the upgrades here. He's forced to just pick up, eats a couple Banes. Serral spreading the creep across. Clem really trying to shut down the momentum here, but he hasn't made any progress. Serral continues his inexorable creep spread. Hydralisk will be the choice immediately this game. Widowmine kills a queen. Medivacs will pick up those Widowmines. There's one more at the back. Okay hit. Is there an infestation pit? No. That is the only saving grace here for Clem. Is no quick hide. Dropping in the main, but the Zerglings are already ready to intercept. Serral's lining up a Bane drop in the third. And I don't think Clem's going to be looking that direction. The sensor tower should clue him in, though. He's not paying attention. And he didn't even if you see the dot, it might just be an Overlord. Not one full of Banes. The meta... Oh, he's trying to... Oh, no! Clem scrambling. That Bane drop definitely threw off his tempo there. Something like that, when you're continually rotating around the map and you have to look back at the wrong time. Serral exploiting it. And now... he did not stem the tide. The Widowmine combining with the Banelings in a pretty dramatic buddy cop situation. I think it ended up working out for the SCVs. He didn't lose as many as he could, but Serral's everywhere. Alright, the Widowmine not even going to get a hit. More coming up. Clem is scrambling. Serral doesn't even have Hive Tech here. Infestation Pit is not done. Serral's maxed out. Clem getting driven to the corner of the map. A planetary may finish at exactly the second he needs it. But the Medivacs can be targeted here. The Zerglings are covering. Clem. Clem needs to pull it together 2 minutes ago. But now would be good as well. He's clearly overextending just slightly. And it's costing him so much. Serral, once again, the big saving grace here for Clem are the upgrades and Serral's lack of Hive. Those are two sides of the same coin here. As Widowmine's looking for a connection. Serral trying to minimize the damage. The Widowmine's mostly hitting the Terrans here. Is Drilling Claws done? Yes. And those Medivacs already loaded up with mines know it. Clem takes a good fight in the middle of the map. He's got +2/+1. He's about to have a 2 upgrade advantage, potentially, if he's able to work his way through. He guns down the Hydralisks. But there's just a few too many of them alongside the Queens. He's forced to pick up yet again. Medevac drop. There's enough Hydraslings and Banes. Still in the center of the map. Crashes through the Widowmine. Overseer's out in front. Clem, vulnerable here. Where are the rest of his units? A lot of them were sitting in the main. Maybe expecting a drop, but the Widowmine drop comes in. He may get some kills. Three drones, something. Definitely not as much as he was hoping for. With Serral, he's got a lurker done on the way. His hive is complete. No adrenal glands yet. Oh, the Baneling Mine! Not that much on the ramp there, but there's so many Zerglings. Serral trying to come in, but the Widowmine's finding massive connections. The Zergling streaming over everything, but coalescing, so the Widowmines are able to get the big hits. And Clem stabilizing for now. And importantly, Serral doesn't have a bank. He's not maxed out. Even though it looks rough for Clem, and it is. This isn't 300 supply Zerg yet. It isn't an army Clem can't deal with. In fact, the units lost are dead even. Within a few hundred. And Clem now has 4 going on 5 bases. Where's the Ghost Academy? It's done. How many ghosts on the field? They're very well cloaked. It says 0. Serral is maxed out. The Changeling's gunned down. And here we go. Serral Hydras and Lings up to the north side. Banelings. He's pinned up against the wall. The Banshees are still alive! Banshees to help out. The Overseers are there, though, so not going to find too much. Serral is swinging around, as he always does. Coming in from the southern flank. But a Widowmine or 2 could help out. Not enough to stop the Banelings from crashing into the planetary. And likely kill. Okay, alright, he had to come back for more. And Serral drops 30 supply. He's actually a bit supply. He lost so many Overseers. He lost so many Overseers, he's actually a bit supply blocked as he's trying to make lurkers. A disastrous timing, but the cracks begin to show. He's not perfect. He's still human, arguably. But speaking of humans, the Terrans are marching in. And quite a choke point. Clem sees a sliver of an opportunity. He's gonna pry it open into even more. Liberator at the back. Some Widow Mines as well. Doesn't want to split everything back if he doesn't have to. The medevacs still have energy. Another base is being landed at that center location. Serral's still mining pretty comfortably. Another parasitic bomb. The medevacs being taken out. You gotta be careful about dragging that home. Don't want your friends to catch it. But the lurkers, they'll be spotted by the Widow Mine. But are there any ghosts on the field? The lurkers could be devastating. And the Widow Mines are nothing in the face of them. They're way too outranged. And the Widow Mine's not enough to blunt the Hydras either. He is just completely unprepared for the lurkers. Even though the Hydras have been on the field for this long, the timing is perfect. But the Banshees! The Banshees! They're still alive! And just in time, Widow Mines hit a whole bunch of the Zerglings. And it looks like the Bioarmy splits well enough. He's going to clean up the lurkers. It's a pretty costly fight. And meanwhile, Serral again, GG! He's everywhere. Clem just never found his footing. And Serral eventually runs him down. Just half a step behind. What an incredible series. But Serral just brings it home. He's just so good. Even though he might slip occasionally, the exception proves the rule. Clem takes two, but this time around, at least in this series, Serral maintains his status as the greatest of all time. It felt like just Clem lost a bit of steam there and could never gain it back. Serral's so good. Thank you for watching. I truly hope you enjoyed. I hope I made a significant part of your day a little bit better. I hope to see you next time. Like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Make sure the autoplay's on the right video. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.